Hola, soy Rachel Miranda y soy boricua.
Ajá. Suena los tambores.
So, Boricua is the local name for anyone who is Puerto Rican of Puerto Rican descent. And Boricua actually derives from the indigenous name for the island, which was Borican and translates to brave and noble lord. Lo que mucha gente no sabe es que el línea puertorriqueño está mezclado con las razas española, africana y indígena. Something I love about being Puerto Rican is that although we understand it is a privilege to have free association with the U.S. after becoming a Commonwealth, we still are very loyal to our culture, to our way of living, and our heritage. For instance, when I was younger, I would always look forward to big holidays like Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, because we would cook very traditional meals like mofongo and pernil and pasteles y arroz con gandules, and on the side there would always be aguacate y tostones y maltas, and it would just be this huge feast. And I remember when I first moved out from home to go to college, I started experimenting with new spices, but I was like, I don't really like this. So I called my mom up and I was like, Mom, I need the spices that we use because all of these new ingredients that I'm trying just aren't it. And she was like, yeah, it's just onions, pepper, garlic, and parsley. That's all we use all the time. However, when I was younger, I wasn't always as eager to embrace my culture. Like when my dad would come to pick me up for school and he would be blasting salsa and other traditional Puerto Rican music, and I would just be so embarrassed. I would ask him like, Dad, please let me change it, or can you please put the radio on? And I really never really understood like why he would play that music so loud and be so eager to listen to it when it was just like so embarrassing for me. Until my quinceañera, when we had a solo dance and it was just him and I, and it was one of those songs that he would used to play in the car, and it just brought back all these memories, and I felt so bad for not like understanding that it was a part of our culture and that I should embrace it. And ever since then I have just loved to listen to all those classics he used to play. And although there's other artists now like Ozuna and Bad Bunny and all these newer artists, I still find myself listening to classics. And although I love the food and music of my culture, when I think of culture, it really reminds me of family and traditions and keeping those traditions alive and passing them down and remembering to always stay together. And that's how I always feel when I go back to the island. And even though they call me La Gringa and the American, you know, they know deep in my blood I'm Boricua, you know, and it may take a couple of days or so for me to come back with my Puerto Rican accent, but it always comes back. That's the best thing about going back to Puerto Rico, you know, it hits you like that, you know, you just feel like you're at home. So something this class has taught me so far is to practice. And although it's kind of hard because I'm in the States and majority of my family is in Puerto Rico or Florida, I now put subtitles on my movies, on my shows. I practice with my mom more because it makes it so much easier to call my family and text them and tell them what's happening, because while I'm on the island it's easy to catch on, but over here in the States it's so easy to just use English and kind of forget about my culture unless it's a holiday or I'm in Puerto Rico. And this class has really taught me that I shouldn't have to do that, you know. I should find a balance. I should find friends who want to communicate with me in Spanish. I should FaceTime my cousins for practice. I should start developing my writing skills and my speaking skills so that when I'm in the workforce, I can utilize them. And I'm so thankful that I took this class so that I could really dig deeper into my heritage and my culture and not just learn more vocabulary and more words that I kind of already know.